Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're filming in the rain in Las Vegas of all places. Not ideal weather. However, something that's interesting, we haven't seen Chinook RVs since 07, 06, something like that. It's an older brand. They're coming back, apparently. Now, there are two chassis that these can be configured with, and they've got color options and limited layout options. We have a Ford and a Mercedes chassis. So let's start here with the Ford Transit. And I like that they're coming with the BF Goodrich. Let me see, these are all-terrain KO2s. We are a huge fan of the KO2s, actually. So this guy is the Ford. It's got an EcoBoost all-wheel drive. And it doesn't say if it's a 350, but I'm gonna assume it's a 350. 892 pounds of cargo carrying capacity. But you also have to remember, 249 pounds if you fill up the water tank. You either love or hate the Transit chassis, but you see, when I'm in here, this is all personal preference. It's kind of similar on the Mercedes, I've noticed. But all my controls are down here, and my line of sight is way up here. So if I want to see everything, I've got to bring my eye, if I'm sitting upright, I've got to bring it way down here. I don't love that, it's just personal preference. And getting between here and the living area is, it's possible, but it's suboptimal. I mean, you're gonna smack you, I don't know. It's not for me. However, the paint is beautiful. They are slideless. We have a generator on board. We have two windows, one on this side, one on that side. A little tiny bit of storage on these guys. I mean, you got your wet bay here. And if we work over here, you got your lithium, actually 900 amp hours of lithium batteries. That's kind of nice. Yeah, a little spot for your power cord. Yeah, not too much actually. 30 amp hookup. It is a smart plug. We've got a little bit more storage with the battery disconnect there. Okay, a little bit more storage. It is carpeted. And then, yep, more storage here. Okay, so all your storage is really on this side. And then I also find this kind of interesting. So these are not all one piece fiberglass. They're nice fiberglass, and you do have an awning up here, not on the back where your door is, but you have one up here. But they're not all one piece, so pros and cons. Actually might help with a little bit of that flexing because they seem to have kind of a expansion and movement joints. You have a butt door on this with a backup camera, which is very nice, but a butt door is very weird. Now this one can easily be adjusted, but we got this guy here and it flips up, and most motorhomes are not this way, but you enter through the back and you've got this hallway. So this is not something like, as a single person, no problems at all. If you like twin beds, maybe. I do like that this is a convertible. You've got your table, you've got your dinette, if you want it. And then you've got these lockers up here, and that is a quality roof. You can feel that. And then you've got your TV here. So it's compact. Is it going to be great with kids? Absolutely not. An induction burner that you can lift out and take outside, which is kind of cool. And across from that, you've got a pretty decent sized sink. This is heavy, that Corian material, and this sink is not plastic. It is, I don't know if that's Corian as well or what that is. Now it's also pretty large for an RV sink and has a sprayer. It feels a little weird, but they gave the Galley, so that's great. Before we get too far, this guy is $258 MSRP, and we'll show you the Mercedes one. It's a little bit more. Their show price here, this is in the Las Vegas Super Show here in November of 2025, $219. But before we kind of move back, the simple stuff is up here. Of course, we've got these lockers, solid wood, but they've got a nice wrap here and they're pretty heavy. And then of course, that's on all sides. You do have a Victron system in here and apparently a bottle opener by Coca-Cola. Up here, it is pretty simple. And we don't have any power in these for whatever reason right now. They do give you some outlets. You have an extra cushion here. These cushions, I might add, very, very comfortable. You can see out there, you can see over here, the line of sight, right? My eyes are right about here, and as I come over, so it's a little dark on this side, honestly. It's just dark. They could have added a skylight, but they did give you a bit of solar on this. Watching this TV kind of sucks. Honestly, my head is here. I do like that they gave you the day privacy and the night privacy shades. They're all MCD shades, so they didn't skimp out on that. These are some huge shades. I actually think that window looks a little bit long. It is definitely longer. Kind of reminds me of a yacht. They do open and they're not electronic, and this is actually pretty slick because as I pull this back, my screen comes with it. That's pretty cool. They look really nice on the outside, honestly. Kind of reminds me of the Ford F-150 here. That kind of rear window design. Watch your fingers, you pinch them, and there we go. These are really cool, but not a lot of ventilation in here. And I'm not seeing any vents on this side, although there is one behind us. Now it does look like we have a Dream dinette, which I believe is an electric unit on this, a very heavy table. So there are ways they could have saved some weight. Personally, I'd rather have like a solid hardwood and then maybe even a lighter countertop. You know, personal preference though. They give you a lot of power on this and a good amount of solar. They also have that 900 amp hours of battery, which is really great. It's a Norcold 12 volt fridge, which is pretty deep. I mean, that's pretty deep. It doesn't look like a lot of volume, but I'm a big fan, actually. Now, Norcold currently, I believe they are either filing for bankruptcy or they are selling or a combination. The freezer, however, not very large. It's definitely not deep. It's not very, I don't know. So you do with that what you will. You do have it looks like just a regular, no, it looks like a convection microwave. So that's, I mean, it's not the biggest, it's definitely not the smallest. The fan in here is not a fantastic fan, it's not a max air fan, and it does not have a built-in lid. So that's something to know. Also, it's by Dometic. It kind of feels cheap and it's not going to automatically lift for you, but I kind of like simple things. This shower is very interesting shape. So here, I mean, you got one mode here, and if I bring this closed, it's tough. I mean, I don't even have an, you know, I don't know. At the widest, oh man, at the widest, this shower sucks. I'm gonna say it sucks. Is it good materials? Absolutely. Does it suck? Also absolutely. What could they have done differently? Well, in my opinion, a wet bath is the most appropriate in this layout. I just don't see people actually using that. There's not enough headroom in here. It just sucks. But let's look at the bathroom here. Oh yeah. Oh, what? This needs to be a wet bath. This is ridiculous. I got so much room in here. And they don't need a sink in here. But I gotta say, porcelain. So really, they're not skimping on weight. You know, it's this would have been a great wet bath. I love this sink here in terms of materials. This is a beautiful sink. You got a lot of, I mean, enough storage, I'd say. A couple small, we're not seeing the quality issues in this. Oh, you actually have, this is the controller for the fan right above us. We have a Dometic fan here. That one is powered. The one in the hallway is not powered. So that's an easy upgrade, is switch to max air or at least have the basic covers built in. Every RV should have a cover because you want that ventilation. And then make that storage or whatever you got to do. I mean, you could do decent storage there or extend this galley out. Really, the galley is no thicker. No, it's really not much thicker. I mean, even if they cut it in, then this, they could give you a little bit more storage. They could do a longer window, that, you know, whatever they wanted to do here to really spice this up. And then this should be a wet bath. If this is acceptable to you and a wet bath is not, I don't know what to tell you. That you're weird. But storage in here. Yeah, I mean, you can really hang out in here. This is something. And then they look like they run wires and such down here. And then we got simple controls here. You guys know I love simple controls. I don't mind an electronic override, perhaps. Maybe, you know, from your phone. I think that's cool. And something like this, like just get up, push the button, quit being lazy. You got a Truma system on this, which big fan. So it looks like the hot water, and I don't see them putting a heated floor in here, but I'll put the specs as much as I can on the screen. The Chinooks are a very interesting product because they are very, in my opinion, very, very high quality little motorhomes. Their design is good. Is it great? I would say not. And if I was to change at least one thing, there you go. But I also like to have a walk around bed. I could see that being kind of troublesome. In fact though, thinking about other opportunities, lose the lockers in the center here, have a flip down Murphy bed. This might actually be a really good opportunity here. Now, does anybody like dinettes? I know there's gonna be a couple of you that say, yes, I love my dinette. But I think the vast majority of people would say, nope, give me a desk. And in this instance, we could have a flip down bed and a desk that flips away. You throw your stools somewhere else, or you do, you know, you figure that part out. Boom, we've got a really nice system in here. I love that there's no slides. And I think this guy will last a very, very long time. Maybe not the chassis though. We're working with an EcoBoost, and there are definitely going to be people that say EcoBoosts are great. I've also heard the exact opposite, and twin turbos on a heavy motor, you know, you're gonna stress this guy out. But let's go check out the Mercedes unit. Chinook. We've got a Summit, and then we've got a nondescript one. This guy, very similar layout, and they all seem this way. If we look at the Mercedes chassis, the interesting thing about these being diesel, you've got the diesels set up here, and some of them will have DEF in different locations. I'm not seeing the DEF fill on this, so now that is something. And on this guy, we have cargo 1826 minus 249. I like that they don't have carpet on the floor, unlike the Transit. It feels like the windshield's a little taller in here, and actually the cutaway is a little bit higher in this one. You got more headroom up here, which is very interesting. You have your lane assist. I don't like that crap. The quality of this feels like a Ford, and then they slapped a Mercedes chassis on this. You got a lot of cup holders, and it feels like a wider chassis here. They have different seats, it seems. So, and I can go ahead. Yeah, it's definitely a wider chassis. So, can I cut through? Absolutely. If you want to cut through a lot, get this one, don't get the Transit. So coming through, you can actually see the table's up here. You got a decent view here. It does feel dark, but with the even lighter wood, I should say, the lighter wrap, feels pretty nice. I will say, I think this looks cheesy, and it really cheapens the product, in my opinion. It's not an epoxy, it's just a sticker. And with these stickers, we have air bubbles, or, it kind of looks like, almost like that, like if a screw is poking through something. It's not, that I can see. We have a Truma air conditioner, which I find that very interesting. But I do, again, I really like the simplicity. It feels quality. This just feels like less quality, ironically, on a Mercedes chassis, because they're typically associated. If I'm buying one, I like the accessibility, and it just feels a little nicer with the Mercedes chassis, but you are going to pay for that. So the MSRP is $288 for this sucker, and they're selling it right now for $240. You can definitely talk them down at least 30% off. But the materials are otherwise similar. This one actually shows that stove. I think that one looked more removable than this, but this is kind of interesting. And then this is a nice thin piece of that material. Really nothing different, even though this is the Mercedes version. Let's go check out the Summit real quick. I will say the quality of a rig starts with that door, and those doors feel really, really nice. I'm glad to see that. This feels like they kind of want it to be like a racer, which is kind of strange to me in an RV. This, however, I love this green. This is beautiful. You got the same, it's the same overall design and materials, and it is a darker wood in here, right? Same design, darker wood. This feels, really, take out the stupid stripes on the other one, give me a lighter wood in here, and I think we've got a winner. But you can also configure these however you so choose. And here's your equalizer, so your EQ smart level. I'm kind of surprised to see that. I'm also sort of surprised to see, and I'm sure this is somewhat configurable at the least, we've got tan here. Tan, then white. I probably would have gone all white. Personal preference, but again, we can just hop to the front, and I like to see the durable materials. This is really something I expected from the Ford Transit chassis, but it's a comfortable ride. When you go to get service done on these, they're extremely expensive. There's no way around it. Parts for these are just more expensive because it's Mercedes. So I don't know what else there is to say about it, but you get a couple nice features. Although this is cheap, and this sucks. Now, just a couple other things that I'm noticing right offhand. We do have a slide out here, which is kind of cool, so you can get more people built in, but I'm not saying this guy sliding, but this guy, it does lift up to give you some access in here, and then we do have heat. I believe our propane furnace is gonna be right under here. It's comfortable. Your viewing position sucks. You do have a cup holder here. I mean, this is not bad. Here's the thing though. I don't see anything built that you could have easily put something here, a draw shade. People are going to be seeing it here until you fix that. I don't even see snaps that I could just go snap, that's something. Or, there are a lot of options for the Mercedes chassis where they're magnetic and things like that. But then you have to kind of screw with that. And then you kind of bump your mirror, you got to reset that every day. Pros and cons to everything. They did a really nice job with these, in my opinion. Really high quality, but that's sort of a miss. And one other little detail I kind of noticed here. These are a blue tinted top in this particular model, almost like they painted it. Taking a slightly closer look at the top of these, you've got a lot of stuff up there. I'm sure that you can configure these with a lot of different options, but the interesting thing about these little B+ motorhomes is that they're extremely high quality. I mean, I don't think you're gonna beat the quality of these Chinooks. They're just fantastic. I like that they give you some options. Your layouts are limited, but that's the thing. These don't have to be for everybody, and they're not for everybody. They're probably not for the vast majority of RVers, but for those that they are for, I think they're a really, really great option. I also love that they're giving you a lot of power, right out the gate. So that is something we wouldn't even touch for a while to come. other than maybe the solar panels. Maybe upgrade those a little bit. But thank you guys for watching. If you have one of these, how do you feel about it? And is this the right motorhome for you? Leave a comment below, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.